Hello everyone, very good morning and welcome back to Crack Grade B. So let's start with our schemes on Ministry of Education. Very good morning. So first of all, we have yesterday we have seen UDIs, right? Very small components are there, right? Related to the scheme. So few more of the initiatives have been brought in. The difference in initiatives is not much, but the name related difference is there. Hence, what you have to remember is the name of the component that is we are discussing about, and along with that, what is the aim or purpose of that particular component, right? These are the two things that you have to remember. See, government schemes are important for everything. Now, Vidyanjali. So, Vidyanjali is an initiative which involves people from Indian diaspora. So, here what we actually trying to do here is that we want to impart education from the people who already have it, like your retired personals as well as Indians who are not living in India, right? You want to provide the education, and if they can help with relation to the asset or material or other equipments, then that kind of help is also what you can say welcomed, right? So Vidyanjali is an initiative where people from Indian diaspora as well as retired government officials, including retired defense personnel as well as professionals, these are what they are having a graduation degree, right? So they are welcomed and they are asked to volunteer in order to provide the education. So one thing is that they can provide education, along with that assets, material, equipment. This component was included in Vidyanjali 2.0. So earlier only knowledge sharing were our basic motto. After than that, we have also included the component of asset, material or any equipment related contribution. So in general, Vidyanjali means society is contributing towards the development of schools under Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. This is called as Vidyanjali. Vidyanjali giving the what you can say gift of education, right? This is the component of that. Next is Shala Gunvatta portal or Shagun portal. So let me tell you, Shala Gunvatta. Gunvatta is meaning of, that means quality. So here you are going to do the monitoring of what kind of assessment or what kind of standards has been levied by your educational authority, and you are going to monitor it, you are going to assess it. That is the aim of your Shagun portal. So this is a web portal called as Shagun, taken from Shala and Gunvatta. It has two parts. One is it is a repository of good practices, right? As well as photographs and videos that has been made in order to provide a platform to learn from each other, as well as instill a competitive spirit among all the participating states. And the next part is online monitoring module. So the next part here is online monitoring module, where you want to see that what progress has been achieved against the key educational indicators, right? Now, after this, you'll be able to know that only two kinds of components are there. First, we will enable you to learn the quality practices, right? Any kind of photos, videos or any kinds of news stories that are relevant with the best practices, we are going to give you. And once we have taught you that what are the best practices, after that we are going to do the monitoring of yours through this web-based portal. Next is Shala Siddhi. This is also a component of your monitoring only. So implemented by National Program on School Standards and Evaluation. This is the formal name of Shala Siddhi. What you are trying to do over here? Checking on school standards as well as doing the evaluation. First you want to do the evaluation, and then through that you want to do the improvement. It is a unique initiative of Ministry of Education, where what you want to do, you want to meet all the data requirements of all stakeholders in school education ecosystem, right? So the basically what you are going to do over here is all self evaluation related data will be collected over here. Under Shagun portal, we were doing the monitoring. Under this, school will be enabling itself to do the self-evaluation, and whatever self-evaluation parameters are, whether foundational literacy has been achieved or not, right? Whether there are standards has been set or not, what are the performance of grade wise children. These are some of the self-monitoring objects, and these will be a data will be created, and that data will be provided under your Shala Siddhi. So very small components are there, and what you just have to remember, the name as well as the purpose for which they have formed. That's it, nothing apart from that. Next thing is Nishtha. It is an important initiative. This is basically for teachers training. You will see Nishtha 2.0, 3.0. Why they have been introduced? They have been introduced because we want to train teachers in foundational literacy. We wanted to train teachers through online because COVID hit our country, right? So the basic aim of Nishtha scheme is teachers training. And let's see what are the components under this. I have reduced the brightness. Are you able to see the fonts now? It's not visible. See, the camera takes the automatic focus. I have not done anything in that. That is the regular setup. And wait, I'll do the one thing for you. I'll make it more Is this clear now? Is this clear now? Fine, thank you. Let's start with it. So Nishtha portal, talking about the teachers training. So what we want to do under it is, this is a national initiative under which we want to train the school heads as well as the teachers. When was it launched? It was launched in 2019. The next important thing, by whom it is being implemented? So it is being implemented by NCERT. What we want to do over here? We want to improve quality of school education. All the teachers, principals, block resources and the other coordinators who are working on the elementary stage, we want to train them. Moving ahead, what are the key changes that have been introduced? So Nishtha Online. In view of the COVID-19 pandemic, Nishtha Online was launched on 6th October 2020, right? Here, remaining training was conducted online by the NCERT on Diksha platform. So Diksha platform is digital knowledge sharing platform, right? Under this, there are materials related to education from class 1st to class 12. Along with it, there is also material on teachers training. So this is an online platform, and on this online platform, the remaining training was done. We will be coming to this particular platform as well. Fine. Then we have got Nishtha 2.0. I have talked about it. So what happens is, whenever you see that there needs to be an improvement in the scheme, that particular improvement we bring in by getting a different version, right? Just like your app updates. So Nishtha 2.0, what we wanted to do, so we went online on Diksha for secondary as well as senior secondary level teachers, right? So earlier you were focusing on elementary level teachers. Now you focused on the secondary as well as senior secondary level teachers. Extended to secondary level training program aims to cover around 10 lakh teachers across all the states. NCERT has developed a package including 13 online courses and 12 generic modules. Not that much important for us to go in detail. Next is Nishtha 3.0. Nishta 3.0, I have told you that there have been reports by an organization called as Pratham. That organization brings out the report that in India, foundation literacy and numeracy is quite weak. That means the child who is in 5th, 4th, 3rd grade, they are not able to read and comprehend age appropriate lessons, right? So for that we have got this Nishta 3.0. Under this, what we wanted to do, we wanted to create a lesson, or we wanted to train them how to instill foundational literacy among the children. So foundational literacy and numeracy in online module on Diksha portal. This was launched in 2021. It is covering 25 lakh teachers as well as school heads. Moving to Nishta 4.0. Nishta 4.0 was for early childhood care and education. It was launched in 2022 with 6 modules. Why we have launched early education and care? Because link it with your national education policy. In national education policy, now we have brought in the system of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. That means we have included early childhood care also in the component of school education under the component of Samagra Shiksha. Hence, with relevant to that, we want to train our teachers on early childhood care as well. So hence Nishta 4.0 has been brought in with that intention. This is done. Next is your Diksha. Diksha is digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing, right? I have told you under this digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing, this is a portal, right? Online portal. You have included all the education related materials from class 1st to class 12. Apart from that, you have also included teachers training related components into that, right? We all have apps from where we get to learn, right? So you can understand that this is also a portal. By using of that, training is provided. So aim is, this is a teachers education portal. It is a digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing. Nation's digital infrastructure, it provides quality e-content for school education, right? There are textbooks for all grades. Diksha is a nation platform for school education. This is an initiative of NCERT. So that is the same thing that has been repeated. Next is your Sakshar Bharat Yojana. Sakshar Bharat, a little bit of it. What we want to cover over here, we want to cover all adults in the age group of 15 and above. So basically the point of focus over here is we want to train all the people who are school dropouts or who have not studied because of any reasons, who may not have gone to schools, right? So obviously their school going age is finished, but still we want to make them at least literate so that they can carry out their own functions well. So with that intention, Sakshar Bharat Abhiyan, we want to impart functional literacy to 70 million adults who are in the age group of 15 and above. Functional literacy and numeracy to non-literates and non-numerate adults. Non-literate and non-numerate adults means numerate, it relates to the mathematics, basics of mathematics, adding, multiplying, dividing, subtracting, right? These are the basic things which any individual should be knowing about. So the Sakshar Bharat Abhiyan is related to adult literacy, where we want to make them literate as well as having the numeracy related competency. That is the only initiative. Now your RUSA. RUSA is Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan. You have got so many objectives for the higher education related thing, right? You want to focus on infrastructure, you want to focus on teachers, you want to focus on the quality of education, right? So this is the holistic scheme which is only focusing on the higher education related component. Let's go into it. I will be telling you that what is important, what you should be studying in it. So launch date is 2013. RUSA Mission Authority is the apex body at the national level. Chairperson is Minister of Education. Implemented by Department of Higher Education plus Tata Institute of Social Sciences. Now very important is Funding is 60-40 and 90:10, that you already know. Performance based funding is there. Next, there is important thing is your Bhuvan Rusa app. So Bhuvan Rusa app means ISRO has a technology called as the remote sensing. By using remote sensing technique, what we generate is image of the objects that are there on the earth, right? So with that particular technique, all the things like if you have made any infrastructure, there are equipments in your lab, any other kinds of instruments that has been involved in your higher education center, we are going to geotag them, and those equipments, those infrastructure developments can be monitored online through this Bhuvan app technique, which has been provided by the ISRO. So this is the intention of Bhuvan Russo app. So ISRO's location based solution to monitor activities of this particular scheme. This scheme was subsumed by the RUSA 2.0. Now let's see what are the intentions of RUSA 2.0 with the objectives. By reading the objectives once, you will be able to get it. Just wait for a second. Yes. So let's see the objectives. What are the objectives of this particular scheme? First of all, we want to improve the overall quality of the state institutions by ensuring that they conform to prescribed norms and standards. First of all, next we want to bring in the transformative reforms in the state higher education systems, reforming in the affiliation as well as academic and examination. Adequate availability of the quality faculty, that means apart from the infrastructure assessment, all of that, you want to focus on the faculty as well, that they should be teaching the quality content, enabling an atmosphere in the higher education institutions so that they can go for research. We will see that there is a particular scheme has been launched for the research orientation as well, right? We'll come to that. We have seen NRF, that is National Research Foundation, that has been envisaged under National Education Policy, right? So we will come on to that as well. But first see, under your RUSA, you want to focus that the higher education institutions that should be focusing over what? Focusing over research and innovation to correct regional imbalances wherever there are no higher educational institutions in underserved or under what you can say backward areas, where there you want to establish it. Improving equity in higher education by providing adequate opportunity of higher education to SC/ST as well as socially and economically backward classes of your society. Now there is a new phase of RUSA has been launched till the year 2026, right? The funding proposal related expenditure 12,000 crores, out of which central share is 8,000, approximately 8,000 crores. What are the targets under it? So here you want to go for the last mile delivery. Last mile delivery means all those areas which are underserved by you. So with that intention, we are going to cover underserved areas like your left-wing extremism areas, difficult geographies, northeastern region, aspirational districts, right? As well as tier 2 cities and the areas where the gross enrollment ratio is less in higher education. What are the features under this? Let's read it. So under the new phase of the scheme, state governments will be supported. States will also be supported for creation of new degree colleges. State universities will be supported for multidisciplinary education and research, and grants will also be provided for strengthening the universities. So these are the intentions. So basically our intention is only that wherever the institutions are not there for higher education, we should be able to provide them the facility. Now talking about the Prime Minister Research Fellowship. So here, see what happens is India is way behind China in if I talk about the number of patents etc. that have been filed by Indian or the persons of Indian origin. We are way behind China as well as America. Why is that particular case? Because in India we have seen so many engineers as well as other degree holders or the people who are doing any other kind of degree. I should not take specific names because obviously there are good quality teachers as well as students as well as some colleges, right? Like we have IIT, so the engineers who are coming from IITs, obviously they have got a standard to lean on. They know at least what they are studying. But I'm talking in general that the degree that is being provided in our country is just for the sake of obtaining a degree. We do not know how to implement that particular knowledge in the real circumstances in most of the times. I should not generalize this because it happens that there are people who have degree and they know how to justify that degree, right? But most of the times it does not happen. So what we want to focus over NRF is your Prime Minister Research Fellowship as well as National Research Foundation that we have developed. We want to focus that the Indian students, if whenever they are doing the PhD or doctorate related thing, when they are doing actual research, they should not be doing it just for the sake of degree. The government want to provide them the financial support so that they can continue with their research work, right? Obviously any kind of research work needs funding and government is going to provide you that funding so that the research which you are doing should be actual on ground research, correct? So with this particular foundation, let's go and read about your research program implemented by IISc Bangalore, right? Who are the institutions which are eligible? First of all, what we want to do, we want to improve the quality of research in various higher educational institutions. Which institutes are eligible for it? So all IITs, right? IISCR as well as IISc, Central Universities, Indian Institutes of Sciences, right? Science Education Research Institute and IITs, you all know, central universities and National Institute of Technology who are giving the science and technology related degrees and who are in the top 25 institutes in the NIRF ranking. So there is a national institutional ranking framework where we rank our higher educational institutions, right? It is very important because it creates a competitive sense among them and then they do much better on the education related components, right? So in NIRF ranking, they are being ranked on the quality of education that they have achieved, what kind of faculty that they are having, and so like parameters are there. So all those institutions which are coming in the top 25 ranking of NIRF, all those institutions are eligible. That means what? We want to say that the students who are studying in these particular institutions, they will be eligible for a financial assistance from the government so that it will help them in their research work. Now talking about what are the students that will be eligible. So not all the students will be eligible. See the students who have completed or pursuing final year of 4 or 5 year UG or integrated MTech program or 2 years masters in science and technology related stream for IISc, IIT, NIT or these particular institutions or centrally funded IITs secured a CGPA of at least 8 on a 10-point scale. So talking about this on a simpler basis, the student must be doing a master's program, right? Earlier also 4-year or 5-year integrated program, that is undergraduate plus masters integrated program, and then we talked about masters. So student must be doing or appearing for a masters program. Apart from that, he should be having at least this much grade, because obviously if you are not having enough grades, that means why government will waste its funds on providing you a funding for research, right? So you should be having some capability on, because of that government is going to provide you the funding. Now talking about the fellowship, what is the amount that will be provided? So the following will be the fellowship for under this research foundation. Year 1 70,000, year 2 70,000, next year 75,000, then 80,000, and year 5 you will be getting 80,000. This is your UG plus PG, right? Undergraduate as well as a postgraduate combination program, 5 year, 3 plus 2 years. So if you are doing performing research, we are going to give you this particular funding. Apart from this, the fellow will also be eligible for a research grant of 2 lakhs per year. A total of 10 lakhs will be provided for 5 years. Now what are the amendments under this? In the year 2020, some of the amendments have been brought in. What are the amendments? Now for the students from any recognized institute or universities other than these institute of prominence, if the requirement of grade score is reduced to 650 from 750 apart from minimum CGPA of 8 or equivalent, NITs which appear in top 25 institutions can also become PMRF granting institutions, as well as Minister has informed that in order to boost research, a dedicated division is being created in name of Research and Innovation Division. It will be headed by a director which will be coordinating the research work. So Minister has informed now there will be 2 channels of entries. One is direct as well as the lateral entry. Direct entry means you have started from the basics, and lateral entry means that you have already studying under some other institution. You have got the grant and now you have moved in. So direct entry channel, candidate must satisfy following criteria. In the preceding 3 years, the candidate should have either completed final year of bachelor's or master's degree, right, with the CGPA score of 8 as well as the GATE score of 650 in the subject, and plus they should apply and get selected in the PhD program in one of the PMRF granting institutions. We have talked about which institutions are eligible, right? So these are the criteria for direct entry. And what is the criteria about lateral entry? So lateral entry means the candidate should be pursuing, you are already doing PhD in one of the institutions. You should have completed at most 12 months in the PhD where you have joined the program, and should have completed at most 24 months if you have joined the program with a bachelor's degree. Should have completed at least 4 courses with a CGPA of 8.5 or above. So these are the components of lateral entry. 2 things have been introduced in over here. Not to go that much into detail, just remember this. If you are a fresher, then also you are allowed with a direct entry. That means if you are a bachelor, you have obtained UG related degree, undergraduate degree, and then you are going for masters, right? So you will be getting the research related fellowship during your masters only. That is called as direct entry. And if you are already a PhD institutions in one of the institutions, then that is called as a lateral entry. CGPA scores in your direct entry it is 8, and in lateral entry it is 8.5. So these are the basics that you should be remembering. Next, and another scheme for teachers training. So Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching commenced in 2014. Initially it was launched for just 3 years. That means till the 2016 during 12th plan. Standing Finance Committee has appraised the scheme and now has recommended that it should go on till the year 2026. So total outlay is 493 crores. It is implemented by All India Council on Technical Education. It is a funding is provided by central. That means it is a central sector scheme. Now what are the goals? The goals are the same that should be there for a teacher's education, but with a twist of technology in it. So goal is that there should be a coordinated approach so that any shortcomings which are related with the teachers that can be removed, ranging from school education to higher education up to the technical education. See, the physics as well as chemistry, mathematics, you start studying from your school level only. So first of all, your foundation should be clear. Then only we can think of that, okay, you will be performing better in the technical education related concept, right? So hence, if I only talk about that, we will be providing the training to the teachers in your technical related domain only. That will also be not justified. Why not justified? Because we want to think that there should be a quality education regarding all the fields directly from the a school education perspective, right? So the next thing which we want to talk over here is we want to create as well as strengthen the institutional mechanisms, right? Like teaching learning centers as well as institutes of academic leadership and education management to empower teachers and faculty during training, retraining and the orientation program. Now mission goals are sought to be achieved through the combination of scheme based intervention as well as the project based intervention. What we want to do over here is we want to provide training through existing or the new institutional setups related to postgraduate as well as doctoral programs through online training, etc. So training you are going to provide through the schemes. And next thing is project based activities. Here you are going to provide training on mathematics, science, languages, engineering courses in technical education, general courses in social sciences as well as vocational courses. Now moving ahead with our very most important act. See, this has been the core of all the Ministry of Education related things that we have studied. Everything is secondary, but this is the primary thing. Many of the things under this you might already know about, right? Some of it you might not know, but the thing is that we have to study this in detail. You cannot skip anything because this is the foundation and this is the bare minimum which everyone should know about, right? So let's start with it. Right to Education Act 2009. We wanted to provide a free and compulsory education. See, earlier this was brought in. There was just a directive principle to the state that state should be providing 6 to 14 years age of child. State should be providing free education for them. State should arrange it. There was no compulsion for it. But with the coming of this particular act, as well as there was a constitutional amendment through which we bought Article 21A. Through these, it has been mandated that 6 to 14 years of age of child, they will be provided as the compulsory education. And now in DPSP, it has been instructed to the states that all the child which are in the pre-primary stage, that means from 3 years to 6 years, right? For this age group child, you are going to provide the education as well as the development activities. This has been mentioned in your DPSP now because the 6 to 14 age years of group, this has brought in under this right to education. So Constitution 86th Amendment Act in 2002, they inserted the Article 21A in the Constitution. What we wanted to say under this, so on Article 21A, this is related to right to life and we have included so many components under it. 21A related to right to education. All the child which are in the age group of 6 to 14 years, they have got a fundamental right. After that, this constitutional amendment, we have also created an act, right? So in this particular act, child between age to 6 to 14 years, they have got a right to free and compulsory education. The government schools, they are going to provide free education to all the children, right? Private schools shall admit at least 25% of the children in their school without any fees. So there is a quota in private schools as well that you have to serve to child who is not that much socially as well as financially competent. You have to provide them the space and you will not charge any fees from them. National Commission for Elementary Education, they shall be constituted to monitor all the elementary education related things. Now talking about the main features, I am going to talk this in detail because this is important and I am not going to skip any of it. No child will be held back, expelled or required to pass a board examination. If a child is above 6 years of age and has not been admitted in any schools or could not complete his or her elementary education, then he shall be admitted in a class appropriate to his or her age. If he has attained now an age of 8, right? So then he shall be admitted in the age appropriate class. If he is eligible for class to second, then he will be made admitted into that. A child who has completed elementary education shall be awarded a certificate. Call needs to be taken for fixed student teachers ratio, not yet decided, but your education and national education policy talks about it, right? 25:1, 30:1. We have already studied that. Next is school teachers will be needed an adequate professional degree within 5 years or else they will lose the job. What we are talking about? We are talking about when this act was enacted in the year 2009. School infrastructure, where there is a problem, it will need to be improved. Financial burden will be shared between the state as well as center. National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. This organization came, it is a statutory organization and it came in existence in 2006, right? So this organization is an agency which will going to monitor the provisions of RTE Act. Each child will get a free uniform, books, etc. under Right to Education Act. Every child will be provided free textbooks, right? And for special needs, they are going to get 3,000 per annum for inclusive education. 10,000 rupees will be given for home-based education for severely disabled child. Now, this is the amendment bill. Not talking about it, not that much important. Amendment in RTI Act 2009 with respect to pupil teacher ratio for special educators. So schedule has been amended regarding the pupil teacher ratio when in the 2022. One special education teacher for every 10 pupils with disabilities which are enrolled in primary level. See, earlier what used to happen, that school used to deny the disabled child to get admitted in a normal school, but now you cannot do that. And with regard to that, there has been a provision that if you have got disabled students in your school, then for every 10 disabled students you have to have a teacher who is specialized in handling the disabled child as well as teaching them forward, right? Next is your earlier efforts for eradication of adult literacy. Just we'll be having a brief introduction about them. 1988 National Literacy Mission. So this was launched in 1988. Again, the function was what? We wanted to provide the functional literacy to non-literates which are in the age group of 15 to 35 years. Because up to 14 years there is a provision of free and compulsory education. So we are not even counting that. From 15 to 35 years, all those who have not gone to school, never gone to school, left the school in between, all are welcome. And the first scheme which we have launched was in 1988. Then we have got Sakshar Bharat scheme. We have already read about it, right? Adult literacy. Lastly, we have got in 2020 Padhna Likhna Abhiyan. Padhna Likhna Abhiyan implemented during the year 2020. It was a physical target that we wanted to impart functional literacy to 57 lakh adult illiterates in the age group of 15 and above. Next is New India Literacy Program. So we'll be covering this particular scheme with a little bit detail, right? We'll be going slow with this and hence this will be, let's start it. So the Union of India, they have approved a centrally sponsored scheme called as the New India Literacy Program because this is the latest one, right? Hence the maximum focus will be imparted on this. Launched, the time period which is going to cover is from the 2022 till 2026. Now what is the aim? We want to promote literacy among the non-literates in the age group of 15 and above. The same thing that what Sakshar Bharat wanted to do or your Padhna Likhna Abhiyan wanted to do. The coverage is 5 crore learners at the rate 1 crore per year by using online teaching, learning assessment system in collaboration with NIC, NCERT and National Institute of Open Schooling. Financial outlay is 1000 crores, central share 700 crores. Central state shares are in the ratio of 60-40 as well as northeastern states as a Himalayan states 90:10 and for UTs it is 100%. Fund flow will be through public financial management system. You should be knowing that this is a platform which tracks that where the government funding is doing, all the DBT related funding things that go into that, and this comes under the Ministry of Finance. So priority under this will be given to girl and women. Again, Disadvantaged sections is going to have the priority: girl and women, SC/ST, minority, person with special needs, nomadic, construction worker, laborers, etc. Focus will be on all aspirational districts. Aspirational districts have been identified by Niti Aayog, and Niti Aayog want to develop them on all the fronts. Aspirational districts have been identified, all those districts which are severely lagging on all developmental parameters. So districts with literacy rate less than national average, districts with female literacy rate less than 60% as per the 2011 census. Important thing, you should be remembering this. What are the focus of this particular program? The program has got 5 objectives. What are these 5 objectives? Let's just see it. So under this, foundational literacy and numeracy, critical life skills, vocational skills, basic education, and we want to motivate them for continuing their education. Salient features of this particular schemes are: we want to involve school children, pre-service students of higher education institutions, school teachers, Anganwadi, Asha workers, NYKS, your NSS, NCCs, volunteers, right? Now, why we want to involve that? See, you want to give adult literacy. Providing adult literacy is the basic component. You want to provide them the basic literacy, right? Like A, B, C, D, K, Kha, Ga, Ga, numbering system, multiplying, addition. This can easily be provided by the school students, NCC volunteers, NSS volunteers, right? Can easily be done by them. So hence, we will not be just focused on the teachers. We are going to enroll and involve all of them as volunteers in order to provide the literacy. School to be unit for implementation, use of information communication as well as online implementation. Material and resources will be through digital modes like TV, radio, cell phone based. Assessment will be conducted in the school by states and UTs, right? And with this national open schooling, this is going to help us. This particular institute is going to help us if we want to take the test, if we want to do the assessment. Sample achievement survey as well as the online MIS. Online MIS means management information system. Whatever kind of thing you are doing, you need to have a data on that. Once you have a data, you know that how we are going to implement this, right? So these are the objectives. Moving ahead, National Apprentice Training Scheme. So apprenticeship is considered as a good way learning while earning, right? Both the things are included over here. So what you get, you get a hands-on experience of whatever work you want to perform. So for that, National Apprenticeship Training Scheme in India, it is a 1-year program in which we want to equip our technically qualified youth with the practical knowledge, extended for the period of from 2021 to 2025. It is 1-year program, right? We want to give skills related training under this. Approximately 7 lakh youths will be registered under this. Next is financial outlay. What is the financial outlay? 3,000 crores during the next 5 years, which is about 4.5 times the expenditure. Next is apprenticeship will be imparted training by industry and commercial organization. Very important. Government is not going to provide them. They are going to work under the actual organizations, right? So that they will get the experience. During the period, they are going to be paid a stipend amount 50%, which is reimbursable to the employer from the government of India. Government is saying, please employ apprenticeship, please employ trainees, and whatever amount of stipend you are going to provide to them, 50% will be reimbursed by us. We are going to provide you 50%. The only thing which we want is that please provide them the training. Next is, if you are a graduate diploma program in engineering and humanities, then you will be considered as an apprentice under this particular scheme. Stipend, science and commerce will be given a stipend of 9,000 and 8,000 per month respectively. The scope has been further expanded to include students from the humanities, science and commerce besides the students from engineering stream, right? Apprentice training scheme, it is going to provide the apprenticeship in the emerging areas like PLI, such as mobile manufacturing, medical devices manufacturing, pharma sector, electronics technology program. So production linked incentive is, this is the scheme that has been promoted by Government of India. What Government India is doing, so if you are going to establish a pharma based manufacturing unit, right, understand this, you are doing the production, so government is going to provide you the incentive on the successive production that you are doing. Government is doing a help to you. So obviously government is already providing the help in order to set up such kind of industries, and now we have linked this scheme with another scheme of ours that is called as the apprenticeship training scheme, right? So all these all these people who require to be trained, they will be trained under these particular organizations, right? The scheme will also be preparing skilled manpower for the logistic sectors identified under the Gati Shakti program. Now next scheme, we are not be doing this particular scheme today. Let's leave it for tomorrow. So this is it for today's session. We have tried to complete the schemes in a crisp manner, right? I have not gone that much into detail because that is somewhere not required as well. Wherever it is required, because see what happens is in Ministry of Education, there is nothing basic that you already do not know. So hence a base is not needed to be developed. In other ministries, like if we talk about MSMEs or other kind of ministries, then the base needs to be developed, but not in relation to Ministry of Education. You already know that what are the problems, you already know that what are the lacunas, and you just need to know that what the government steps are taking on this front. So this is it. Okay, so with any particular scheme, what I want to tell you is, if there is an initiative that has been taken by Government of India, any kind of initiative, so I would like to tell you that please do not go that much into detail. Just understand the name of an initiative that has been taken, right, and what is the purpose of that particular initiative. Only these two requirements, only these two informations are enough for you. See, if I talk about this scheme, this is obviously important. I have to go into detail because there are so many details under it. But if there is a component, like we talked about the Bharusa Bhavan, right? So if that is an initiative, just a small initiative, so just remember the name and the purpose. That's it. Do not need to go that much into detail. So with this, I would like to wrap up today's session. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll be taking one more session on Ministry of Education and we'll be done with it. Thank you.